Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode. I'm here with my co-host, Millie Max.
Yo, what's up, guys? Just woke up from a nap. I'm feeling good. Okay, so I find the naps super beneficial. Super beneficial, guys. Even 5-minute nap, 10-minute naps. Some people, because I don't know, but some people, I used to think that, a nap was an hour, 45 minutes, this and that. I think, and it's hard to wake up from a nap.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you extend it too long. I always find that even if you do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, especially for me, I find myself so tired. And I don't drink coffee. So if I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling a certain way, I'll take a nap, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm starting to feel better right now.
Well, now that you guys know the key to doing a great podcast, it's taking a nap before doing a podcast.
And having Isaac set everything up.
Yeah. We have a juicy episode today. As you guys see the title, we're going to break down how we made our first 100K in 1 month. So we're going to talk about the mindset it took to get there, how stressful it was, and just share our experience because I think it's a huge milestone. People talk about making your first 1K, your first 10K, your first 100K, and we're right there. Not every month is like that. There's lower months. That's been the highest, but definitely it was a huge accomplishment. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from people saying that they love the business stuff when we talk about that stuff. We have 2 bike shops here in California, one in Santa Monica, one in Redondo Beach, and we do some side things with online stuff. Marketing.
Digital marketing.
Yeah. So we definitely have a good amount of experience. We've been in this journey for like 7 years.
We've been in the journey for 7 years. Yeah. Started in 2017.
And Max.
We also have a couple of topics that we want to touch before that.
Yeah, we also have.
So Isaac got surgery today.
Yeah, they took a little lump out of my arm. That was something crazy.
Isaac wants to question me about my love life.
Yeah, that's juicy, bro. So Max hasn't been in a relationship in a while.
In a minute,
and
bro. I could say why. I can say why too. Well, are we getting into it now?
Well, just very quickly.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, because I really wanted to focus on myself.
Okay.
And, it kind of even ties into what you were saying.
Right.
About checking things off your list.
Yeah.
And I was just a very insecure person.
You were a simp.
Nah, I wasn't a simp. I was just an insecure person. I probably was a simp.
I think we all went through that stage.
Yeah, hopefully. We all went through that stage. But I was a very insecure person, and obviously as a man, I don't know, as a man, I feel that it's hard to really date someone if you have nothing to your name,
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Take you, what experience am I going to give a woman, if I got nothing to myself?
Yeah.
So obviously when we were starting out 7 years ago, I didn't have shit, bro.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a car, bro. We were taking the bus.
Yeah. It's definitely, you're 100% right. That's the real life for men. But yeah, we got that in the pipeline. Like I said, we do want to focus on the business side of stuff, but Max and I had a good week. Max just came from a little break during the week. Those breaks have been a little bit more frequent recently.
A little bit more frequent. I had to have a little conversation about Isaac, about my breaks. It's been and I said this last episode too, but I'm just trying to enjoy my summer, and that's been the vibe. And your vibe has been focusing on yourself.
Yeah. I've been enjoying my summer
too. Yeah, no, for sure. But, it's like, you've been enjoying that, like, focusing on yourself.
Right.
All right, let's talk about your incision real quick.
Real quick. No, we need to stop saying, and right.
And like?
And like. That was some feedback that we got. So we definitely need to do a better job, Yeah.
Wait, what? No, yeah, I understand.
Okay, let's get into it. So
let's get into it.
Today, like I said, I got surgery on my right arm. No, it's not my tricep. I know I got huge triceps, but it was actually a little lump that I developed.
A little bit of arrogance from Isaac.
That's weird to see.
Yeah, that is weird to see, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch it up, you know. I'm trying to become more like Max.
Nah, chill.
All right, just kidding.
Chill. Okay,
But-
yeah, I was gonna say.
But
chill.
I've had this little lump of fatty acids in my arm, and it's a fatty acid tumor, according to my dermatologist.
That sounds bad.
And I went today. As Max said, I've been on this wave of just taking care of my body, getting back on track on my goals, really going hard. And I feel super motivated, super inspired, and slowly but surely, I've just been checking off things that have been taking up mental space up here. And I Googled dermatologist near me. My mom kept telling me, go get this checked out, go get this checked out. Finally did. And I wasn't expecting to have surgery. And long story short, I ended up doing it. I called my mom, hey, they're willing to do it right now. She said, do it, might as well. And yeah, I got it done. It was it was a small incision, but at the end of the day, I still felt a little bit lightheaded just because he struggled a little bit to pull it out. And I was like, bro, come on, don't tell me this right now. Fortunately, I turned around. He said, hey, get on your back. And it came out a lot easier. So
What was the worst thing that you thought about that? Like, about you having it? What was the worst thing that went through your mind?
while I was doing, having the surgery or
No, like leading
just
up,
having it there?
like having it there. What was the worst thing?
Well, just taking up mental space. And
Like, what would you think about? Like,
well, I was
this
like,
doesn't look good on me. What was the?
yeah, definitely. It's not horrible, but it's something that I would always notice, right? When I would get out of the shower, when I didn't have a shirt on, when I would just look at my arm and see a lump. And I've had it for almost 3 years, and it's definitely grown a tiny bit. So I was just like, okay, I can't let it continue to grow, right? And according to the dermatologist, he said if it grows past 15 centimeters, which is a lot, it's pretty big, he's like, it can become cancerous. So if you leave it untreated, it's not good. So that was like one thing that my mom even told me, like, hey, if it grows, like, you should take it seriously. So, and my dad, the other thing, is that my dad has them, and he started to grow a bunch because he left them untreated. So I was like, all right, don't want to have more than one. Cool with one, but not two.
Having a bunch would be crazy.
Yeah, no, not good. But yeah, bro, that was that. And
I'm glad you got it fixed.
yeah, me too.
Glad you got that fixed.
What
Okay.
you been up to?
What have I been up to? Yeah, so this is the summer of love, guys.
The Summer of Love Island. What's that show called?
I have no idea.
You've never heard of it?
No, I mean I've heard of it, but I don't.
okay.
I don't keep in touch with those things.
Gotcha. Love Island, I think that's what
Love
it's called.
Island. No, bro. If I were in that world, that'd be crazy.
I feel like that's your world, though.
What do you mean?
Not just kidding.
Okay,
like
so lead me. Lead me. Or what
Okay.
should I-
So like you said, bro,
yeah, because I was in a relationship for a long time.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. And we said that you've been taking a little bit more breaks, just trying to enjoy your summer.
Right.
What happened, dude?
Yeah.
Why did you leave me?
First of all, you left me.
Yeah, I left you first. I knew, bro. I was like, I remember telling Dara, right? I was like, look, it'll happen to Max at some point. And I feel like it's coming. I feel like it's coming.
course.
No, I didn't mean it like that, but what I meant to say is like, it's going to happen soon.
Okay.
I just felt like the energy was shifting.
Yeah. So, so as I was saying, guys, I want to make this kind of quick.
I'm engaged.
I'm getting married.
Good nuts. Not yet. I don't know, dude. I don't know, bro. You're something else, bro.
I am something else. Okay, so listen. Once we dropped out of college and started our own thing, it was I went way back.
You went way back.
But I just went through a very long period of just grind. We were grinding so much, and I remember there were days where we didn't even go outside. We were just on our computers, and we were new to a city. It was very hard for us to make friends and just get to know people.
Yeah.
And also, I had always been in a relationship. So I had never just been like talking to a bunch of girls and this and that. So I definitely feel that I lost a lot of social skills in those like first couple of years of us dropping out of college and traveling to Texas, living in Texas. And as I was saying, I had no room to think about dating, because that occupies a lot of space, as you may know.
Yeah.
That occupies a lot of space. So when you're trying to make it out, it's just one of those things where I just didn't even want to think about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2020, which was COVID. So then we also went through COVID, right? So then that made it obviously very hard to find someone to date and this and that, right? But that summer of 2020, that's when things started to change for me, and we'll kind of address that going back to how we made $100,000 in a month. But momentum started to shift with me. I started becoming a lot happier, and I started becoming a lot more
confident.
Yes, confidence is a good word. Just because I was starting to make my own money. That's when I fixed my teeth, because I didn't fix my teeth till 2021, and my teeth was a very big insecurity of mine. Obviously, I had glasses too.
Dude, you had the whole package, dude.
I was struggling, man. And I wasn't too fit either. So it was just a bunch of things, right? And it wasn't, so then that's when things started to shift for me.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until last year where I was thinking to myself, damn, now I'm pretty confident, now I'm pretty confident, especially, and I've said this so many times, but dating in LA is really hard.
Yeah.
It is really, really hard, because you're talking about everybody has so many options. Everybody, as a guy, you're seeing so many women. So there's like so many options. And as a woman, you're seeing so many guys, and you're seeing the top, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing the top of the top.
Yeah.
So dating here is pretty, pretty difficult. And not only that, but you also have the traffic. I feel that traffic is one,
Yeah. Traffic
obstacle.
Of girls or?
No, traffic of driving.
Oh, like actual traffic.
Because, if you want to make plans,
right,
you got to really like person.
But if you if you are with someone else that doesn't live close by.
Well, even if someone lives in downtown and you're trying to schedule plans out, they are going to have to drive an hour, or, you have to really plan around it.
And dude, imagine this. If you have jobs, right, like 9 to 5, right, most people.
Yeah.
It's hard.
But anyway, so a year ago, I started feeling good about myself, and I said, all right, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
And so I've been on a journey, my own journey, like my own dating journey. I think I took an approach of really breaking. I don't know how it is for guys out there, because I don't want to put any stereotypes, but I will say most guys that I know are afraid to talk to a hot girl.
Yeah.
It's difficult to see a hot girl on the street and be like, riz her up, right?
Yeah.
And tell her, hey, or even introduce yourself. You know? I feel that's very hard for a lot of men out there. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But what do you think?
No, definitely, bro. I mean,
I feel like guys talk a big game, between themselves sometimes. Like, this, like when we go out, bro, we're gonna get the bitches and this and that. And dude, bro, I've been in so many situations like that, and I see them like get cold.
I'm glad I never lied about that, dude. I was always honest. Look, I don't got it like that, I just don't.
And I think what it is, it's men have that energy of, I want to talk to all these girls.
Yeah.
But then, like the situation happens.
They can't back it up.
And they freeze up. So
yeah.
That's honestly, again, going back to me not being too much social.
Yeah.
That made it even harder with women, because I saw a hot girl, and so that's kind of what started happening to me. I'd see these hot girls, especially in LA, and I was like, fuck, like I have to be able to say hi at least, And so I went through that whole journey, and that helped me a lot, because I started getting in that zone. I remember one clearly, man. This is the only story one I'll tell. But I remember when I was starting, we were at a restaurant. This was when we were in the Corvette, and we went to Abbot Kinney.
Oh, yeah. And I told you, right?
Well, I told you, I said we were at a restaurant, and there was this very beautiful woman.
With her mom.
With her mom.
I see. I know what you're talking about.
And I told you, and I'm like, bro, I'm going to go say something. And bro, I think you were pushing me, but
yeah,
you know that was something I didn't do, especially with a mom.
Yeah,
that's pretty high stakes, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
And so I remember I did it, and I remember watching this woman the whole time, and she had like this straight face. And after I went up and complimented her and tried talking to her, and her mom was there. I remember once I left, she had a smile on herself the whole evening after that. And I was like, it goes back to that idea of, again, sometimes as a man, you're afraid of saying hi to the hot girl and telling her she looks beautiful because you're afraid of rejection. But one of the things that I learned is, why are you afraid? You're literally being nice. You're literally giving her a compliment. You know, what's wrong about being nice to another human?
Yeah.
And so I would notice things like that. I would notice when I would go talk to them and say, hey, I think you look beautiful, and, you know, other things.
Yeah.
They would love it, you know. But for so long, as a man, you're just afraid of the rejection aspect. So, yeah, I mean, I went through my whole little journey, and it just kind of got to the point where I think life and God just kind of brought me to this person, and so I've been taking a lot of vacations.
Now Max is in love, experiencing love once again.
Experiencing love once again, yeah.
That's good, bro. Yeah, I definitely saw you go through that. I knew it was a matter of time. Obviously, back then you described it very differently.
I described it very differently, very, very differently, and I've been open about that. Open about that, but yeah, I used to have this idea of fuck, I want to date all these bunch of girls, be more of a player type of guy.
Yeah.
But I was kind of starting to get to that level, and I realized again it takes a lot of space and a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I realized that I just wasn't that guy, you know. I did have feelings, and I didn't want to hurt other women. Obviously,
at least you're honest.
Obviously, going to church was something that shifted me as well, because I started hearing the word of the Lord, and I'm like, I don't think God wants me to play around with these women, you know. So that also started to happen. That's also why I started to change. And yeah, you get one question.
Well, that's the update from Max for sure. I think that I've definitely seen you grow through that and had your challenges and yeah. But with that being said, I mean, I just want to say one more time that I am happy for you, because one, I know it's not easy to, like you said, you worked for it, you know, and I think God put you in contact with this person that you're happy with now, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, I saw you go through that, and I was proud of you, because not many dudes can do that. Like, set a goal of, I think that's one of the toughest goals. Not to go on a tangent and talk more about like relationships and stuff, or how to have game, but it's definitely one of the hardest goals that I think men out there can put on themselves. How do I increase my confidence talking to women? And I think you follow the right steps. You work on yourself first, right? You boost your confidence, you get your money, and slowly but surely you have to put in the reps. You have to go out there, talk to women. Even
that's the most important one, because I remember I even spoke to you about this when I was first doing it, because I literally thought if I went to the gym and just got fit, like that would attract more women.
Yeah.
Or like,
that's what most people think.
Most people do think that. I used to think that. I used to think, oh, if I just start to look better, it'll come. And it was No, once I started talking to them, it sounds stupid, but that is literally how people think.
Yeah, it does play a small role because looking better will help you look better
Yeah.
and definitely get more attention. But if you don't have the confidence,
Yeah.
right, internally, besides, you can have a fat guy that doesn't look too good, but if he has confidence, dude,
Yeah.
he'll pull a 10, right? Like he'll
More
pull,
than a guy who's maybe super fit.
but is timid
Yeah.
and doesn't put in the reps.
And I think at the end of the day, people, especially here in the US, I think, and we've spoken about it, but people are afraid of talking to each other.
Yeah.
So women are also very, they'll do everything. I think that women, when they're interested in a guy, they'll do everything except talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really, if you're not gonna make the move, she's definitely not gonna make the move.
Right. Definitely. So, where should we go next? Should we talk about the 100K in 1 month?
I think we should just slip into that.
Slip into that. Okay. So, as Max was saying, did you say in this one? Well, we were talking about this, and this happened last year. Was it during the summer, right? It was during the summer in
July.
This exact month
Yep.
last year. And by that time, we had basically four sources of
income. Yes.
income.
So
No,
it was our,
five.
it was our marketing agency.
Marketing agency PB. That was the company where Max was working. Boss Pro Media, the company where I was working. Beachside and Rib.
Okay, yeah, 5.
So we had 5 different sources of revenue. Pretty much all of them. No, not all of them. Well, pretty much full-time positions in a way.
Yeah, mine wasn't full time because I actually was full time and I went part time.
Was that? Oh yeah, because you went down to the 45, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So part-time. My thing was part-time too, but the agency, we found a way to just sort of automate it, run on its own. Definitely Beachside and Rib took the most time and effort, but we did have those 5 sources of revenue. I think that I want to talk a little bit about how we got there.
Yeah, definitely talking about how we got there would be good.
Yeah. So first we started with the bike rental truck here in Santa Monica. That was when...
You wouldn't start with the agency?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I would start with the agency. First, we had our agency guys, which we started in 2017, and that was, that's literally what got us
out of the mud.
What was our biggest month? I think
probably when we had Sames and the other 2 clients.
Which was...
It was like close to 20.
No.
Yeah, because they were paying... It was... Sergio was paying us like 8K, right? The other clients were paying us a good 4 each.
What other clients?
The other 2 Sames. Well, at some point we had the other 2 Sames.
But that was just for like 1 month.
That's what you asked. What was our...
Okay, that's true. But I think yeah, that's true. Okay.
What's happening?
I feel like the highest was like, I don't know. I feel like the highest was between 6 and 9.
Bro, come on. With George Chevy.
We're going to have to definitely... Yeah. No, I'm talking about like the consistency one. Because that the 2 same.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, if you're talking about what... Yeah, it was definitely no more than 10K.
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah. But we are on the subject of the highest peak,
right.
So I understand why you're saying that. But I want to say no more than 10K was our highest.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were going through that stage, I remember our bank account would stay literally the same. It would never grow. It was just, it was kind of like a paycheck to paycheck type of thing where, we were just making the same amount of income. We had the same amount of expenses. So everything just stayed relatively the same,
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we moved to California, added Ride to Baby Bikes. And then that's what added another layer of income. And then in summer of 2020, that's when I got my job of Prospect Bacon. And let me just show... I remember I would have these voice notes. I love doing these voice notes.
This what?
These voice notes.
Oh.
And I remember in October 30 of 2020, I put en route for my best month 4,000.
Oh wow.
4,000 plus.
Yeah.
And that was my best month. Now we're talking 2020. And then I remember on March 28, 2021, I just made 20,000. I was fucking excited, bro.
2021. What month? March.
And I just made 20,000. I was really hyped about that. And then I don't think I did another one since then, but I know I recorded those.
You need to get back on those, dude.
I know, bro. I need to get back on those. But I remember we did that. I had that 4,000, and then that was the 20,000. I remember when we were hitting those amounts. I was just, mine was getting blown. We were just breaking records. I remember when we had our first $1,000 day. Making $1,000 in one day was bananas.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know. Back then, again, we would get paid $3,000 from a client, right?
Yeah.
But in the whole month,
right?
Which comes out to $100 a day, right? Or let's say
even when we got paid our highest,
6,000, which was 6,000, right?
Yeah,
would be $200 a day. So to make $1,000 in one day, it was just bananas. And then I remember we had our first $2,000 day. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you stack those days, and then that's how you get $100,000 a month. But anyways, okay, so is there anything else that you want to say as to like how I'm building it?
Well, I do want to talk about, we said we had our agency, then we added Rib.
Right.
Then Max started working
I got my job
at the
Prospect Bacon.
Prospect Bacon. And then
Beachside? No. Yeah, you got the job, yeah.
Then I started dating somebody, and she had an agency similar to Prospect Bacon, but a lot smaller.
And this was a pivotal moment too in our lives because we had just moved to Santa Monica, and I was actually gonna get Isaac to work for my agency.
Yes.
But he ended up taking.
Yeah, I didn't go through, and I went a different route and started working with her and started getting paid from that business. And so at this point, I had my own job, and we had Rib together, and the agency.
And the agency had stopped, but we had just acquired, literally when we moved to Santa Monica.
Yeah.
We had just acquired a big client, which was a big dealership here in Downey, California. And they were paying us $9,000.
It was 2 dealerships.
Yeah.
And they were paying us $9,000. So we had that, and then.
And I remember just the backstory in the dealership one because I think this is a cool story. But I remember that we were doing Instacart.
Dude, I have videos, bro, of you delivering the groceries,
really?
Dude. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna put it.
Post it. But I remember I was doing Instacart, and guys, I got so good at Instacart. I got so good. And I remember the aisles and stuff like that. And I remember it hit me, and I thought to myself, why am I so good at Instacart? I can literally become so good at anything else.
Yeah.
If I put this amount of time into something else, I'm going to become so good at that. And so, because I was getting my reps in at Instacart. And so I remember there was a day where I said, I'm literally quitting. This is it. I'm finding and this was COVID times too. So that's why I was doing Instacart.
Yeah.
Because there was not that many options. But I remember I quit. And I remember literally as I quit, I said, I'm going to reach out to this girl, which was Isa, and start that. And that started that conversation. And I remember that conversation started. We got her as a client, but then it grew into a big client until we moved to Santa Monica, which was $9,000 a month. And I remember they locked us in, right?
Yeah, for a year.
They locked us in for a year. So we had a juicy 1-year contract of $9,000, which is hard to get, guys. It's really hard. Most of the times, the way we operated was a month-to-month contract, but these guys loved our work and wanted to lock us in, and so we were at $9,000 a month. And then by that time at PB, I was at $6,000 plus bonuses, which would put me at to like $7,500. So just off those two things, I was, we were at 15, 16. So bad at math. 16.
16. Then I was pulling in at the beginning, dude. I remember it was good for me. Like we were just onboarding a bunch of clients. It got to a point where I pulled in some months where it was 5, but it kind of started to taper down, and on average like 3. So we started, that's already 20, right?
Yeah. And so the reason why I do want to mention this, the reason why we started structuring everything like this was because, as I was telling you guys, one of the things that I noticed when we were building our business was that it wasn't growing. The bank account wasn't growing. And there's a lot of reasons why it wasn't growing.
The agency, you mean?
What did I say?
You said when we start our business.
Yeah, the agency. The agency. One of the things that I noticed was that, well, Isaac would take his money, I would take my money, and so then the business wouldn't grow. Like the bank accounts wouldn't grow, and that's one of the things that I noticed. So when we started the bike shop, I remember I said, I'm not gonna take any money. I don't want to take any money. So the bank account could grow and the business could grow, and I'll just do. Back in the day, I would do Uber, and I would say I'm gonna make my own personal income so I can cover my own expenses, and I don't need to take that money from the business. And so that's the structure that continued to play a role in our businesses. And it was also nice just to make my own income, because then, when we make income through the business, it's something that I have to talk to Isaac about. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So now that I was making my own income, it was literally, I felt it was my own money,
But something real quick, just keep in mind the balance here that we had to have, right? And the structure that you decided to do that because I was working more hands-on on Rib.
Yes.
Right. And we had, just to show how, if you're working with a partner, if you have your brother, your friend, your sister, whoever you're partnering with, these things are very important to communicate with that person and be like, okay, how do we do this so that the business grows, so that we continue to grow? And Max said, you know what, I'll work Uber so I don't take much money out of the bank account. But I said, well, I'll put in the work, right? I'll put my sweat into it and I'll get compensated for it. So that part is very important.
Yeah, that part is very important. So that's the structure that we had at the beginning. But then it got to the point where we said, well, what if we both had our own income? And then that way the business, I don't know if we had that conversation, but it just,
we definitely did. Yeah, we definitely did. Because I remember you even brought up the example of like, I feel like as the dad, like I was bringing in the money, and now the mom wants to like go out and work. Dude, I was like, this fucker, bro. Like, why would he say that, bro? But I was like, whatever. Don't tell me we didn't have that conversation, bro.
I don't know. You don't remember that? I don't remember saying that example, but I'm sure I said it if you remember it.
Yeah, dude. How could I not remember that one, dude? I was like, dude, you're telling me I'm the mom, dude? I was like, hell no, Max. I
did feel like, I was just kind of creating my own income, paying the bills.
Yeah, bro, that was funny. But we always had this communication, and up to this day we still figure out, hey, how do we balance everything out? Like, what do you work on? How much time do you put in? Do I take like we balance it all the time to make it fair for both of us, to also see the business accounts grow, which is ultimately the most important thing. But it does come with this at a sacrifice, guys. The amount of time that we think about this, running 3 businesses and still having our own part-time jobs.
Yeah.
That there's a reason why that month was $100K.
Yeah.
But that's the sacrifice that it was a lot.
It was very grueling. It was very grueling, and it goes back to what I was telling you guys why I wasn't dating.
Yeah.
Because that is that sacrifice. If you really want to get that bread and you want to get that money, you have to grind for it a lot, especially at the beginning stages. As you get better in the game and you're able to outsource things and this and that, you know, because sometimes people will say, well, work smarter, not harder. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
at the beginning, you have to put in all the fucking time to learn whatever it is that you gotta learn to make money.
Yeah.
And you gotta put so much time. Then, and even now, bro, again, I always think about Gary Vee, you know, Bradley Martin,
Right.
Logan Paul. I feel that they're working all the time.
Yeah.
You know, just making moves, and
Yeah.
and you know, obviously they enjoy life a lot more because they're able to delegate, so they're able to do more and still make more. But yeah, you definitely have to put so much time.
And that's the goal. Since you mentioned those guys, I think that the work won't stop, because if you're an entrepreneur, that's what you enjoy doing. You enjoy working on businesses, on your goals, on your projects. But I think the key is to remove yourself from the tasks that you don't enjoy doing and just take care of what you enjoy doing. And that will only come with, you know, capital and being able to delegate stuff and increase your team and have people that can help you. Because if you don't do that, again, if you're going paycheck by paycheck, and that's where I think most small business owners, they are not thinking like that, and they're just living paycheck by paycheck like we were when we started our agency. Because you have to find ways to continue to grow the business, and that's either you either get more clients and then start outsourcing, or you like we did for Beachside or Rib, that we started to find other verticals within that business.
Yeah.
Or we find another location, we expanded to a different city.
Yeah.
And that allowed us to increase our capital, be able to delegate more, and slowly but surely we're removing ourselves from the businesses. We're still very dedicated to them and taking care of them, the things that are important, that really make the business roll, but with the vision of what's next, right? And like, how do we provide more for the people in our businesses so that they can level up? But that's the important thing, that you need to figure out a way to focus on the things that you love doing.
Yeah. And so that, and we had just moved to Santa Monica, and so we also hit that layer of, wow, we have to make more money. That's another thing that happened, because living in Santa Monica was more expensive. Now it was just me and Isaac. Previous to living in Santa Monica, we were paying $3,000 in rent, and it was divided between 4 people, so we were each paying like $750, right? So now it was doubling. Our whole life was doubling in a way, because now we're gonna pay $1,500 each, so that's gonna be double the rent. You know, food is a little bit more expensive. If you want to eat out, it's a little bit more expensive. Everything was just going to get more expensive, and so that's another reason why we pushed, and why Isaac decided to. Well, we kind of decided to get a job, for Isaac to get a job, the mom of the family, contributed. And so that's another thing that I think is very important for people who want to find that new layer within themselves, is to push yourself and to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Because I've always seen that from us, when we've pushed ourselves, that's when the brain works in survival mode. And so when you're trying to figure out how to pay rent at your parents' house, that's $300. Your solution's gonna be a $300 fix. If you're trying to figure out how to pay rent of $3,000 in Santa Monica, then you're gonna come up with a solution to pay $3,000. And so the level of your problems will be the level of your solutions. So just try to find bigger problems, and you will find bigger solutions. So we hit that point, and that's why we got there. And when we moved here, we were going into the winter season, so it wasn't going to be too hot, you know?
Yeah.
But as at 2022, right? 22 started rolling around. It was our first summer, and this was the first summer that we were going to hit
COVID too.
Yeah, it was post-COVID. Now the tourists were back in, because then 2021, you know, not everybody was able to travel to the U.S. And once they were, summer was kind of over already. So 2022, again, was the first year where we were going to be able to see the totality of what Ribs was going to do. Not only that, but we added Beachside
in April
of 2022. So again, we had our part-time jobs, we had Rib, and we had our agency, and we decided to buy another business. So this was, I'm telling you guys, this was absolute fucking grind time. And
or I remember when, sorry to cut you off, but to emphasize how grueling it was, I remember I had to work at Beachside at the
Didn't
beginning, at the beginning of buying Beachside. And I remember one time where we had to be in a meeting
Yeah.
with Downey. And dude, I was at the bike shop,
Yeah,
bro.
I do remember that.
You could just see like the
Oh, you were
bike
in
and
and
the
out.
yeah, I was sort of in and out. I was trying to help customers and come back to the meeting.
And I remember I wouldn't even make the meetings because we could go to the actual
Right.
meeting or we would just do online, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
even be able to make it in person.
yeah. So the lesson here to not drag this out is that eventually things will start to fall through the cracks.
Well, I feel like, yeah,
but
but I feel like we should just talk about what the
Okay.
result.
sure.
So we started to add all that workload, and I was actually still full time. I was actually still full time with my job, but once we acquired Beachside, that's when I said, okay, I can't do Beachside and be full time here, so I gotta downgrade. So I went to part time job, and I went down to like a 3,000. Now I was getting paid half, right? So I was at $6,000. I went down to $3,000, and summer was coming up and it was heating up, and we did not know what the businesses were gonna produce. I mean, we had expectations, but we didn't know what they were actually what they ended up producing. And so, again, July is our hottest month. July and August pretty much being right there, right below July, but still July a lot more hot. And the breakdown, I'm gonna give the breakdown.
Sure.
So now the breakdown was again we
were
had
already at
5.
20.
What?
We were already at 20.
20.
Okay.
The biggest.
But PV changed. You said you went down to 3, right?
You're right. So the breakdown goes as follows, and I remember let me actually pull the picture up just so I have it here right here. So I remember I would add these all up. I would have Prospect Bacon, H&D, Beachside, Ride a Baby. I didn't include Isaacs, but I had it like that. I have June, July, and August here in this image, guys. We can maybe post it. But at the top I have a little quote from I think Lil Skies, which says, "I gotta get it, do or die." Because I'm telling you guys, it was like massive grind.
I gotta get it, do or die.
I gotta get it, do or die.
Right.
So Prospect Bacon, July, 4,500. That's what I was again from my job. I know I said 3,000, but for that month I had a bonus. I had a bonus
You
of
did
1,500.
mention you would get bonuses.
Yeah, so I had a bonus, and that took me to 4,500. And then we had H&D, which was at $9,000, which I had told you guys. And then that month, Beachside made, dude, you were $40 away from 35,000.
Yeah, we could just.
Those are the worst.
Yeah.
Those are the worst when you're like right there. You literally just could have sold
Wait, so what's the math? 45?
4,500, 9, and 35. And then Rib barely crossed 50,000, 5179. So total for literally the specific number was 98,639, and then you add
What I was getting
Yeah.
from Boss Pro Media.
which was
I think that month 2.5 or 3.
2.5 or 3, which just puts us over $100,000 a month. And I remember when I wrote this down, I was in shock. I was just thinking, what? We just made $100,000 in 1 month when people literally grind a whole fucking year for that.
Yeah.
And we just made it in a fucking month.
Yeah, that was the attitude for sure. Well, what does the daily come out to? 330.
Yeah. $3,333.
Because again, we went from first it was the $100 a day, $200 a day, $1,000 a day, then $3,300
$3,333 a day. Yeah, and so we hit that peak month, and the benefits, because again, there's cons and benefits, right? The benefit when we were on this grind is that the bank accounts, I remember those
they soared.
It was leaps. It was leaps.
Yeah.
It was 1 week, 2 weeks, and then by the third week you have a lot more money than what you had before. And again because and that happened again because we weren't pulling because you had the five sources of income, so you're able to offset so many costs. So again, I didn't need any money from the business. I took $0 from the business when I was doing this because I was making my own income. So anything that was profit from the business, it would be profit and it would be in the bank account. Same for Isaac. And then on top of that, you add that a huge difference was the $9,000 that we were making from the agency.
Yeah.
And I remember Isaac, it got to the point where, we were getting pretty stressed out, especially Isaac, because Isaac was dealing with the agency for the most part. And I just remember telling him, bro, trust me, we don't want to let those $9,000 go. We do not want to let those $9,000 go. But it was also difficult because I wasn't doing much to really help improve things. And it just got to the point where, again, because of all the workload and all the things that we had to do, again, guys, this is so many things. Just dealing with one of them is just so much work. And so now dealing with five of them, it is literally fucking bananas. So it got to the point where we had to pick our sanity over money. I think that's what it was. Isaac would just continue to tell me how stressed he was and how it was impossible and this and this. And
well, I want to make one thing clear. I wasn't saying like, hey, I'm so stressed out, like I can't do this. I was just like, hey, bro, if we want to make our clients succeed, if we want to make the agency succeed, I won't be able to do it by myself. I wasn't like stressing out all the time.
Yeah.
It was regular stresses from work, but I was more on the mindset of coming to the realization that, hey, we're just not optimizing for this.
Yeah.
And because I can't have your energy in this and you're not providing as much, they're going to cut us at some point. I was just like, it will happen.
Yeah.
So.
And so, yeah, that's what happened. And so we lost, at the end of the year. So we went through that hot summer. And so we make our bag in the summer. So that's why I love summer, because the energy is just the best. The money is the best. Everything is the best. And that's why this summer, I was just like, I'm gonna just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about that?
I think we covered again the mindset of understanding that I don't know if it's possible, definitely not possible to do it by yourself. You need a solid group of people around you that can help you do all these things, and that can either be done through a partnership or just paying people well to perform important tasks within your business. We have a few friends that run their own businesses, right? And I think for those people who do have a business, you have to understand that, okay, I need to incentivize people so that they can accomplish the important tasks that will help me remove myself so that I can think bigger picture, more long term. And thankfully, we had each other, and we were both on the mindset of, okay, bro, let's grind time. Let's just collect as much as possible. We're young. That's the other thing, that if you are young, this is when you can take the most risk. You have the most energy, and obviously do not make yourself anxious for life and sacrifice relationships that are important to you. But in my experience, at this age, I just think this is when I need to just put it all out there and give my all. And that's exactly what we did. And thankfully, you and I worked together on this really well. And yeah, the mindset is just understanding that it's going to be grueling, but it will pay off. And then lastly, I think that I was starting to get there, but we wanted to finish the story. But just keep in mind that you can't focus on everything. You can't spread your energy in so many different areas because you might just do them at 20-30%.
Yeah.
You're not going to give it your all. And that's what happened to Max and I, where we were doing all these things, 5 different sources of revenue, and some part-time. Our business is more like a full-time position, and it wasn't manageable in the long term. And we had to come to the realization that, hey, maybe it's best that we narrow our efforts and we focus. We still freaking do a bunch of stuff, but we're getting better, and we've had multiple discussions where we're in the mindset of, bro, we understand now that we have to focus, and that's what you have to prepare for. If you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to do things correctly.
You're not, and you're definitely gonna need, to spread yourself thin. You're definitely gonna need help of other people, and because you are not able to spread yourself too thin. I don't know. Maybe you can, but there are seasons for everything. And again, I think that it is important for you to understand that there are gonna be points where you are going to do more. And again, the benefits of that, guys, is that when you are doing more and you're adding those sources of income, the bank account is going to grow and you're going to offset costs, and things are going to be better. But yeah, that isn't going to be sustainable. And so that's what happened to us now. And now we're at a point where we've really downgraded. Well, for example, I don't work at the Prospect Bacon and we don't have the marketing agency. Isaac still works at the job, and obviously we have the 2 businesses. But we tried to add the Corvette into the game and stuff like that. So now we're just at a different stage where I think we will. This is something that I also told Isaac. I think the phases that I've seen in our life is our life tends to, just like everybody's lives, I feel. You go up, you go down, up, down, but the main point is that your highs are higher, and your lows are higher, lower, no,
Higher.
Higher?
Your lowest are a little bit higher,
yeah.
right?
But if you see like a chart, essentially what you want is to go up, and so that's what I see in our life is that. But so yeah, when we go down, it's not as low as when we first went down. I remember when we first had our high, it was through our agency. As I was telling you guys, I saw the account be the same, and then we went through a low where we literally spent it all because we started traveling and we weren't making as much money, and we were just trying to figure out our next step in life, which was moving to California. So we went through that high and learning and making money, and then we literally went back down to 0, and then we went back up and surpassed everything that we had done in the past with our agency by a lot, literally 10x what we did in our agency. So we 10x it, and now we're kind of seeing the come down again. And just getting ready to get launched again to go higher than what we've been before. So it is just, again, understanding that seasonality, and that's also part of the reason why I've just been taking it chill, because when how we were just talking about adding Manhattan Beach, we went so hard for Manhattan Beach and I felt the stress. So then I just thought to myself, let me just get my energy back again and get ready for this next launch pad. And once this next launch happens, really focus on that. So yeah, guys, just really try to understand what point you are in and understand your situation. Obviously, having a partner helps so much. So if you can find someone, that's going to be important as well. But I obviously know that that's not easy to find.
Yeah. And I do think that it's possible. I don't know what you think, bro, but I do think that it's possible to get to a point in your life where a lot of the work that you do is very, for example, I picture Gary, right? Alex Hormozi, like these people at the top who they're not doing the tedious stuff, but they're really just like in meetings, right? Like they just go from one meeting to another. Yeah. They're making decisions. I definitely think, at least that's where I'm trying to get to in my life, where people value what I have to say, right? And I can just sit in a meeting and I move the ball forward, right? And I think that that's where, in a way, at a way smaller scale,
Yeah.
we have been able to get ourselves to, because the shops run pretty successfully. We've done much better than last year every month. And that's another thing that I did want to throw in here, that even though we don't have all these things going, like your job, getting paid a little bit less for my job, and then not having the agency, but because of our focus, we have been able to grow our businesses more, right? So that's another thing. But ultimately, like I said, you can get to a point where I think that you can do multiple things throughout the day. Again, it's going to come down to time management skills, organizational skills, communication skills, and capital to be able to put the right people in place so that your businesses run without you, essentially. And thankfully, we have been able to get to a position where we now have the flexibility and the time to think of, okay, what's our next move? But the money's coming in on a daily basis, just because thankfully we have the right team members. Shout out to our team. They're super solid. But yeah, we're in a good position to, Max is recouping his energy. I'm in a position right now where I'm ready to go. I feel very,
too, right? Like recouping your energy too.
Yeah, recouping my energy too, and just focusing on my health. And I think that's the most important thing, your health. And God.
Trying to think if there's anything else, but no, I think that's it. I think it's still crazy to me. It's normal to me to say $100,000 a month, because that's been my reality for a year now. But it literally is crazy to think that we've done that.
Yeah.
And it's something that it just literally sounds crazy to say, but. And one thing that I tweeted recently was I want to have my first $10,000 day.
You want to have your first $10,000 day?
That would be crazy, bro. That would
Yeah.
be crazy. And so, yeah, right now, again, going back to finding the higher highs, it's, as we said, I think Isaac already stated it, but this is not what happens every month. You know, we are a seasonal business, so we get most of our business in the summer months. So once, in the other part of the month, it slows down, and so we get a nice average that we average to. So, yeah, now it's how do we find a bigger high, because that's then those highs will be bigger, and we can maybe have a $10,000 day. But, I do think about, damn, if we could keep up the momentum from July and have that be an average, that would be so fucking crazy. You would literally make it out the mud.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's it.
I'm
pretty good with
that's it
with this. And again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and found it inspirational in one way or another by us sharing what we went through, our struggles, the way that Max and I worked together, how we were able to achieve, go from 1,000 to 10,000 to then 100,000. And then if we do 10,000 in one day and we're able to sustain that, what would that be? 300.
Sorry, I tuned out. What was that?
If we do 10K a day and sustain it for a month, 300.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be crazy. But hopefully God blesses us with that opportunity. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to drop a comment. Continue to give us your feedback. That has been super, super helpful for us. I'm sending Max the feedback that people tell me about him.
I'll send you mine.
He sends me his. And let us know what you guys would like to continue to see. And we'll see you in the next one.
Corvette out.
Corvette out. Peace.